Here's a reality for every entrepreneur. Whatever is standing between you and the goal that you have in terms of the money you want to make, the kind of company you want to run, the kind of organization you want to be in charge of, the only thing standing between you and that goal is a very simple mind concept. If you are running an enterprise, whether it's a bakery, whether it's a hospital, whether it's an insurance agency, you are not a baker, you are not a doctor, you are not an insurer. You are in the business of selling. Every single entrepreneur who is scaling their business or competing at a global stage understands this. They are at the core salespeople, because the ability to bring in numbers through that door in high traffic, in high quality, is the bloodline of that business. That is the only way you get to live your dream and see it happen. But this mind shift comes from understanding that at the core of what you do is something called selling. This should be your number one priority. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this and you're struggling in terms of sales, you're struggling in terms of cash flow, your number one priority should be invested in your marketing. So today, let's break down the Pareto principle, because the understanding of this one principle will dictate your numbers in the business, right? The Pareto principle dictates that about 80% of your results comes from 20% of your input, which means 80% of your revenue comes from about 20% of your clientele. Your ability to figure out this 20% clientele at an early stage will put you 10 steps ahead of every other business out there. I promise you. Now, how do you come down to this number? Before we elaborate on that, let's remember one thing. In every market, the conversion rate is about 3%. It means for every advertisement you do, for example, for every people that you reach out for, you can easily only convert 3%. 3% are the ones who are always ready to buy. That is what every ordinary entrepreneur goes after. But someone who is in the game for some time and understands how the market works, and they're aiming for a global market, knows the 3% can sustain or build the business. So they have to figure how to convert the other 37% that is sitting on the fence to come to the side that are ready to buy. But this is something that a lot of businesses are not aware of. So how do you convince the 37% that are on the fence to actually buy from you? In today's era, if you're still doing the typical cold calling, if you're doing the cold emails, as much as some of them work, yes, or you're waiting on referrals, you know, you're seated at your place or maybe in the office waiting for clients to walk in, you're missing out on the reality of the market right now. Because right now the market is available in terms of currency, in terms of attention, and currency in terms of relatability. Now, if you're a business, how do you convert the 30-something percent that are not ready to buy to come to the 3% that are ready? You can do this through two avenues. Number one is going back to the Pareto principle and aiming to understand the 20% of your clientele who are responsible for 80% of your revenue in details. Try and know them intimately. Most of us group our clientele as per age, location, gender, very superficial avenues. You need to go to the intimate details. Figure out what are their desires, what are their pains, what are their beliefs, where do they hang out, what is their lingo like. All that information will help you curate the right copy to reach them, because the only way you're going to reach this target audience if you meet them halfway in the conversation that is already going on in their mind. This is the easier way to actually convert your target market. Meet whatever conversation is going already in their mind halfway. You can easily do this by understanding them at the fingertips, but you can't understand the entire market. So this is why it's important to figure out who is the 20% responsible for 80% of your revenue. Then you try to understand these people to the core. You know, what are their pains, what are their desires, all that. Go into those details. That is one avenue. The second avenue is by admitting that the world has changed. In today's era, you can't be cold calling people, you can't be cold emailing people, you can't be waiting on referrals, you can't be seated waiting on walk-ins and saying you've done your part. No, we're in a modern day age. We're moving away from the one-on-one to selling, and you're moving on the one-to-many. Because the digital platforms is giving us that avenue. Instead of selling to one person, you now have a chance to reach 200,000 people in a day. Why are you not optimizing your marketing and sales funnel? Why are you not optimizing the strategies you're using currently to reach your target market audience? Every entrepreneur needs to understand that it's possible to hit the number you're looking for. It's not rocket science. But you need to keep up with strategies that actually work. Which reminds me, end of this month, we have a masterclass on 31st. I'll probably put the details there. Please come join. This is going to blow your mind for entrepreneurs and also for energetics of soap. So this is for people who are trying to elevate their life in different avenues. Come join us on the 31st of this month. We'll be at the Fiesta in Karen. Come, let's challenge each other. Let's open each other's mind. Let's grow each other. Cash flow in this continent needs to move better than it has ever done. We are the richest continent in the world. Can that start reflecting in our businesses? Can we start competing on global stages? Because it's doable. But the cash flow, it depends. It's both ways. It's determined by the cash flow in your pocket, determines in my pocket. So we have to grow each other. There are many ways that you can bring change in this continent and in this country. And one of them is economically empowering each other. Cheers, guys. Let's meet at the masterclass.